It is 7 o'clock, so we will call to order the June 27th, 2023 meeting of the Springville Planning Commission. First thing that we are going to do is address the agenda. Do we have a motion for the agenda?
I'll move, go ahead.
You know, you got it.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. We also have minutes from June 13th of 2023 that were included in our packet. Are there any changes to the minutes that were not already sent to staff?
Oh, I think on line 87, maybe it's supposed to be moved to recommend approval?
Yeah.
That's it. Sorry, I didn't send that earlier. I didn't see it until just before.
Mm-hmm. It was a lengthy meeting. Much like tonight's, I suspect. Okay, that change noted. Any other changes or a motion for the minutes?
I wasn't here, so I can't change anything.
I move to approve the minutes from June
Second.
13th. Oh,
Moved and
we're tied
doubly
now.
seconded. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. We have no consent or administrative session items tonight. We do have a legislative session with a public hearing. And that is Springville Community Development requests amendment to the Main Street South Gateway Zone to correct an oversight in a previous amendment to building height. The previous amendment proposed to reduce the upper story floor to ceiling height from 9 feet to 8 feet 8 inches. This is omitted from the adopted ordinance, and therefore not amended in the code, and the amendment is seeking to correct that omission. And we have a presentation.
Hi. You don't really have a presentation. You just
Okay.
have me.
We have a
Much
verbal.
better.
You have, oh yeah, exactly. And I just found my pen. That I
That's even more
I'm like,
important.
I always lose my pen.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I am covering for Josh, so I really hope there are not a lot of questions on this because I don't remember anything. So Josh came before you on April 11th to make some amendments to the Main Street South Gateway Zone in regard to ceiling height. And when the discussion included the ceiling height for the top floors, along with the changes to the roof deck height, and it was all part of the discussion. However, that section was left out of the motion to approve. And so this is just, it was meant to be included, the language just wasn't there. So this is just to take care of that. Once again, no change made to the maximum parapet height. It still remains at 53 feet. And that makes the ceiling height a total of 16 inches, but just does reduce the upper story floor to ceiling minimum height to 8 feet 8 inches, which is a reduction of 4 inches. So for the 16 inches total, and then with the roof deck height of 2 feet and 1.5 inches, everything stays the same. So, like I said, mainly just housekeeping to include that so that we can go in and make that change in the Main Street South Gateway Zone, and that's it.
So just to be clear, this is something that we recommended to approve previously, but when it went to city council, that was not included with the other changes?
My understanding is
That's how I read it.
from Josh that not only was it not included in the city council, it wasn't included in your motion either. So the original discussion included the bottom floor height that had something to do, that in addition talked about the, what was it? I can't think of the word. No, when you step up onto the entryway into the homes, like it changed the height of that, and then along with this to keep the height, the total height the same, but to allow for changes up to, on the, entryway thing, whatever, I can't remember. I can pull up. Yeah, the threshold, thank you. Could not think of that word. Dear Lord. And so with that, the overall height stayed the same. And so then but the motion that the recommended motion just addressed the bottom floor and not the top floor. And so because we lay out in the zoning code the height of that floor, we had, the upper floors were listed at 9 feet.
It seems like it was presented.
It was presented, yes, and like I said, and there was the discussion, but because it was not, as you'll see on page 4, it breaks down the actual floor height, and if we don't change this, then it doesn't match all the calculations to keep the height at what we wanted it. Does that make sense? So, like I said, he just didn't include the language for the upper floor, just the main floor. And so that's all we're fixing now, even though it was part of the discussion.
Is that an inclusive everywhere? That's the minimum, so you have ceilings that do this where you have.
No, it's just straight across, and and like I said, if you, let's see, the combined height with an increase in maximum roof deck of 2 feet, 1.5 inches. Staff proposed to increase the maximum roof deck height 2.5 feet or 30 inches to a total height of 47.5. No change would be made to the maximum parapet heights, which would remain at 43 feet. So this was just to, so this is the top floor all the way across would be 8.8 feet,
No,
or 8.8 feet, 8 inches. I can't even talk.
but it talks about 16 inches in total. Is that saying that you could have 4 stories, each of them at 8.8? Or, I mean, 8?
No, what it did was,
What's the 16 inches?
the 16 inches was 4 inches per floor. So 4 inches on the bottom floor and 4 inches on the top floor.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
The way you were stating it, it sounded to me like it was just for the top.
Well, the original presentation was for both, but like I said, when we wrote the motion, it allowed for the bottom floor, but did not include the top floor in the language.
But the conversation was had, I guess that's my point. We already had this debate, so it seems pretty straightforward.
This was adopted by the council?
Yes, so we're gonna have to go to them too and have them make the changes in the language because it didn't allow for the ordinance to be corrected.
Yep.
Largely a housekeeping issue.
Yes.
That's what it says right there.
Clerical error, something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Well, there's more of these coming forward.
I would normally want to know how I voted on it, but if it's already ordinance,
Well, we can
just voting to make ordinance. Not
Can you pull that up? It was on April 11th was the date of the meeting?
Of last year?
No, of this year.
This year, okay.
I'm sorry, I probably should have included the minutes from April 11th in the staff report. I didn't even, Josh was like, oh no, it's fine. Whatever. I'm like, okay, boss.
I did.
Can you see what the motion language?
Change it today.
Okay,
Why doesn't that cover this
I don't know.
whole issue?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel really bad because Josh was like, oh, it's just really basic, just go in. And so I don't have a lot, I know. Yeah. So, I don't have a lot of information other than I think I know what it is. In the revisions where we show where we will make the changes in the code and what is Xed out and what is added, this part was not included in that. So, yeah, so we didn't, all we changed, I don't know why I keep holding this up to you like you guys don't have one of your own. We changed the, language up. Like I said, this is for this one only.
In the text, but not.
Yeah, and so I think it was, that's what was not corrected, and so we have to have that, I guess. That is what I'm assuming, but if you are not 100% sure and want clarification or are not comfortable with that, then I would totally understand if you wanted to wait, simply because I don't have that information.
Isn't it capped at 4 floors?
Yeah, that was my question, you know. You talk about the 16 inches and saying, well, if the bottom floor is, it can be 9, you know, it can be 14 feet or 10 feet, residential or whatever, then that 4 inches doesn't apply to the bottom floor, and I thought we only had 4 floors, so.
So it would only be 12 inches.
So it'd only be like 12 inches, and
Not
that's why I was
16.
confused about the 16.
Maybe the 16,
so this
well, the
is-
16 isn't even the right number if you're talking about townhomes, because that, in townhomes, the main floor can only be reduced to 8 foot 9 inches. So it's 15 inches at most if it's a townhome.
Yeah, I
And
am so
for-
sorry, like, I really,
Commercial and other residential, it would only be 12 inches.
do you have anything from the minutes of the discussion from that would help clarify any of that?
Reduce the upper story floor to ceiling minimum height to 8 feet 8 inches, a reduction of 4 inches per floor, or 16 inches total. Yeah, it's the 16 inches that is gonna be the sticking point, because that math
But
doesn't work.
That's not
Does it?
what we're voting on. We're only voting on the
Yeah,
8 point.
But
8
that's
feet,
just,
8
that was
inches,
just in the narrative,
not
so it's
the-
not on the bill, in the
Okay.
code.
Yeah.
It was just confusing to me.
No, and I understand, and I apologize, I should have looked at the minutes from the previous, yeah.
So our motion would be, request amendments to Springville Code 11478 Main Street. And so the amendments that would be approving would just be the red line, or red mark. not red
Okay,
line.
so it says in.
That's a different part.
It is different.
So it says in the minutes from that meeting, Josh Yost, Community Development Director, presented. There are 2 parts to this amendment. One, Amendment A is to reduce the upper story floor to ceiling height from 9 feet to 8 feet 8 inches. And the second is to increase the maximum height of the roof deck from 45 to 47.5 feet. There is no change to the maximum parapet height of 53 feet. The change will not be visible from the street. So that's Amendment A. Amendment B is mostly related to the townhomes, which would decrease ground floor minimum floor to ceiling height for residential 10 to 8.9 feet. This is to encourage stoops for townhomes where the first floor residential floor to ceiling height, and only for townhomes where the finished first floor elevation is at least 18 inches above the adjacent sidewalk. And then,
And there's no mention
Yeah,
of
that's
it,
pretty much
16
it. I mean,
inches
it's
in there, so
just-
it doesn't make any difference.
No.
No, yeah. If it's just on where it's marked in red and crossed out, then I don't have to worry about 60. Yeah.
Yeah, we can leave it as a mystery.
sorry, I should have.
The background is
Available to you in the packet. I didn't
quirky,
even
but
think of
that's
that.
not the point. Okay.
We're fine.
So,
Any other questions or clarifications? I know you're just brimming with questions.
I have a ton. I remember this discussion, so it's just apparently we left that piece out.
Mm.
Because I think you guys had to explain to me what it even meant.
I think what happened is the way he wrote the motion, it included the amendment B, but not the amendment A.
Mm.
And so this is just to make sure that amendment A gets included in that, which is this.
Any discussion or a motion?
Oh, we have to have a,
Oh, yes, would someone like to open the public hearing to the public?
I
was gonna
move
say,
to.
I move to open the public hearing and
You
close
did.
the public hearing.
We should probably have at least a.
You gotta
breath
move to
between.
open it and then seconded it. And then you can move to close it and then.
Yes, yes. So do you move?
I move to open it.
I'll second that.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Now I move to close it.
The motion,
Seconded.
Aye.
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 And as a note for the minutes, there is nobody present in
Yeah.
the chambers besides staff and the commission, which is why. Now, do we have any discussion or a motion?
I'll move to recommend approval of the Springville Community Development requested amendments to Springville Code 114708 Main Street South Gateway building height for the upper floors.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved.
There's another note on the minutes, sorry. I didn't catch it until Mike said that he wasn't here, but
Okay.
it says commissioners present, and it includes Mike,
But he's
but
also on
he's
commission
also
absent.
excused, but he was not here, per his own admission.
True. Okay.
I don't know, I don't
Well,
think we have to do anything
it doesn't hurt to
different.
make a motion to
Yeah.
include it.
Oh, I move to, amend the minutes for, June 13th, 2023, to, strike Michael Farr from the list of commissioners present.
Second.
I second that.
All in favor of the correction?
Aye.
Aye.
It passes. Thank you for catching that.
I'm glad I don't need to tell them where I was.
Yes. Seeing no further business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
My goal was